This video is again for worksheet 32-3, and this is problem 5. And what we're looking for here is like the same thing. We're looking for our coordinates that work for both problems, except this time we don't have opposite coefficients. So our coefficients for x would be 5 and -10, and our coefficients for y are 4 and 6. Again, not opposites. So to find opposites, what we're going to have to do is do some forcing. We're going to have to force into opposites. So for x, we're looking for their least common multiple, or think about it like adding and subtracting fractions. If your denominators were 5 and 10, what would be the common denominator? And that would be 10. If you're not sure how I got it by skip counting by 10s, and then I skip counted by 5s, and I was looking for the smallest number that's in each list. So again, we're looking for the least common multiple, which means numbers are going to get bigger because we want to avoid fractions. We don't want to make them smaller and have fractions. So don't say 5 or 2 or 3. It's a bigger number. So for 4 and 6, again, we do the same thing. We could skip count by 6 and then skip count by 4, looking for that first matching number in each list. So the least common multiple for those numbers would be 12. So we have this option. Do we want to force the x's into being a positive and a -10 to be opposites, or force the y's into being a positive and a -12? I'm choosing the 10 because it already has one. That means I don't need to make any changes to the top problem at all. That top problem is going to stay exactly the same. I'm even going to make myself a little note. Keep it the same. -10x plus 6y equals 6. Now here's the issue. We need to force this 5x into being 10x so that I can add these together and have those cancel. That's the plan. So what am I going to have to multiply 5x by to get to 10x? Well, I'm going to times by 2, which means I need to times that entire equation here by 2. Not just the 5x, but also the 4y times 2 for 8y. And then the equal sign, and then 4 times 2 for 8. And again, if we've done it right, 10x and -10x cancel, and I end up with 14y equals 14. In which case, again, it's a pretty simple and quick one to solve. It's just one step. Divide both sides by 14, and I now have one part of my answer. Now to get the x part, same as last one, I'm going to take y equals 1 that I just found, and go back and pick whichever problem looks easier and replace that letter y with a 1. I pick the bottom one because it has no negatives. And I am replacing the letter y in that equation with a 1. All right, from that point, I'm going to solve. 4 times 1 is 4. And then to get the x by itself, I will need to minus 4 on both sides, for 5x is equal to 0. Divide both sides by 5, and I get the second half of my answer, x equals 0. Again, if you need to slow down or pause or rewind, go ahead. But I'm going to move on to the next question, problem number 6, which is the same kind of problem. So again, this is now problem 6. What I'm looking for are my least common multiples, because I don't have opposites. For 6 and 2, the least common multiple is 6. For 4 and 7, the least common multiple is 28. I choose 6 because I don't have to change the bottom one. It's already got -6x. Perfect, that's what I needed. So the bottom equation stays the same. Now in the top equation, I need positive 6x here so that these two can cancel. So I need to find a way to force a -2 into being a positive 6 with multiplication. And that means multiplying by -3. A negative times a negative is a positive. So I got to multiply the rest of that equation by -3. -4y times -3 is positive 12y. After the equal sign, -6 times -3 is 18. And as I add these together, I end up with 5y equals 30, which again is a quick, easy one to solve. One step. Divide by 5, y is 6. For the next problem, or the next part of this, we get to pick whichever equation looked easier. And to be honest, these both look messy. There's a lot of negatives. But their numbers aren't too big, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to pick the top one. It's got smaller numbers, even if it does have a lot of negatives. And I'm going to replace this y right here with a 6. So negative 2x minus 4 times 6 equals negative 6. And I'm going to solve. First off, my multiply, which will give me negative 24. And now I'm going to solve for x. I'll add 24 on both sides. 24 minus 24 makes 0. And negative 6 plus 24 makes 18. Now I divide both sides by negative 2 to end up with x equals negative 9. Again, your answer will always be an ordered pair, two-part answers. If you get to numbers 7 and 8, they are just like this one. After that, once you hit number 9, the level of difficulty goes up one more time, and there is a third video for those particular ones. Thank you.